In this video, we got lots to cover here. So it looks like Ripple, XRP, and ODL are making some big moves. And I want to get into some other stuff. There's some cool tech going on out there that we're going to brush the surface on, but I think you'll find it pretty interesting. And guess what? Oh, yeah, it's coming up right now. Chip here with the XRP Minute. I don't know why I always extend it out, but sometimes I like to extend things out. I want to say, hi, how are you guys doing tonight? How are you? Are you good? Are you okay? Are you getting through it, Bunky? Do you need a pick me up? Stay tuned because I'm bringing you all kinds of good news tonight. We're going to just jump through this, have a good time, and do the usual things. And I love when Ed F says, I'm down with OTC. Who else is down with OTC? Down with OTC? Let's bring it. Let's jump in the chat. I'd like to shout out Darcy BXRP. She's like, what? What? She's out there. We got Balanaj in here. Jet Digital is in here. Serdan Volkovnik. I gotta see if starting earlier for the sake of European viewers' health. I know it's. I realize that. I appreciate that. When you guys come in here, it makes me feel. I feel bad because man, it's late there. It's like sometime in the morning. What's up, Doc? I always love saying what's up, Doc. Doc is in here too. Sometimes, okay, GeoXRP is doing good. The Chipster, I like that. Brings me back to my earlier days. Everyone called me the Chipster. What's up? You can call me whatever you want. Just don't call me a maxi because I'm not a maxi. I love the space. I love Bitcoin. I love XRP. I love them all. But I mostly like ones that are backed by cartoon bears and riddlers because let's face it, that's really the best fun part about being here, right? I like predictions that never come true. I like our favorite stablecoin XRP. But right here on this show, this is the XRP Minute. That's mostly what we talk about here. And I don't know if you guys had a chance to check it out, but I've been dropping XRP little short forms on the other channel. Where is it, you say? I'm listening. Right down below. If you go down below, you click on that little link, go over to the other channel. We call that the standard because those are uploads. This is the live, baby, live, baby, live. This is the live channel. This is OTC live. You got the OTC regular standard channel. Jump over there and you'll see these little short forms that I've been dumping over there. And they're fun because they're 6 minutes. You can consume a lot of stuff. Here we tend to ramble a little bit, tell some stories, have some fun. Terrence Gould says, hey, hello from sunny Thailand. He knows what's up. Danny Torres is here. Hey, what's going on, Danny? Good to see you. It's always great to see you guys in here and just, hanging out, a little mixers. Yesterday we had Cinco de Mayo. I was actually on a virtual stream for a little bit. That was really weird. Everyone had their, nobody can bring you a drink. You had to get off your own lazy butt and get your own drink. So that was kind of weird, but it was a bunch of people and we were, making tacos and having some fun and, on a Zoom call. And that was kind of weird, but interesting at the same time. So let's jump in, guys. Let's see what we got in store here. We got some good stuff. Boom, there we go. So Ripple moved over 114 million in XRP as traders expect tokens price to hit 28. Whoa, hey, 28. Wow, now you're talking. So a vast amount of XRP has been moved in lump sums by whales via a major European crypto exchange. So let's look at this. So you have analysts. They're always unnamed analysts. You ever notice that? They don't have names. They're just an analyst, It's kind of like if you ever watched that Ancient Aliens, that show with the dude with the big frizzy hair. He's always like, ancient, theorists theorize. You're like, what does that mean? So it's always anonymous people. But analysts, just trust me, man. They're analysts. They know what they're talking about here. Let's jump over here. Look at that. A little ripple signal. We're walking through the park here. And I wanted to, so XRPL Monitor on Twitter reported that in the period of 16 hours, 114 million XRP was moved by the crypto whales. This amounts to 25 million plus in USD. The transaction included big transfers of almost 25 million and 23 million. These mammoth transactions were made by crypto exchanges, including the Luxembourg-based Bitstamp, South Korean-based BitHum, and the California-based BitGo. Now we know BitGo, famous for custody out of Silicon Valley. You know they're everywhere. You know they're really kind of the gold standard there in custody. And so it says here that currently the price of XRP is up. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Traders are expecting the price of the third largest crypto in terms of market cap to reach 28 in the short term. So this is, it's nice because these type of articles are always like tainted with, they always say something positive and then they gut punch you. There was like, yeah, the crypto's up, but everyone hates XRP. You ever notice that? It's like everything's fantastic, but XRP is going sub-zero, right? They always throw some of that stuff in there. I'm sure if we look hard enough, and I want to get into this other story too because I think this is pretty exciting. Guys, please tweet this up. What's up, David Luckett? How are you doing? Followed your swimming. Okay, good. That's good. I was doing a little swimming. That's awesome, man. Are you like in my backyard? Am I checking out my pool? That's good. I don't know what that was, but okay. Danny's doing a little bit of work there. She's doing a little moderating. Thank you, Danny. I don't know what happened there, but Ed says smash the likes and notification button and subscribe. And I'll say that too. If you're enjoying the content, if you love coming and hanging out, go down below. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. Any stories I should cover. You can always ping me. You see a cool story that's showing up on, let's say, I don't know, any one of the crypto or Twitters. Ping me, DM me, and say, hey, Jeff, this is pretty cool. I think you should cover it. Because now I'm doing XRP minutes more frequently on the other channel, the standard channel. So always you can ping me and hit me up there. Tweet this out if you get a moment. Check this out. So Dan Rocky, I don't know if you follow him, but I just loved this, okay? If you guys know XRP Arcade, it's one of the better pubs in the space, especially around XRP. I think it's Leonidas's blog over there, but this is huge. News for XRP and ODL proves where the adoption of XRP is going. What started with less than 7.5 million pesos, about $310,000. In April of 2019, think about that. April, it's about a year ago, reached almost 4.4 billion pesos, or 183 million a year later. That's a staggering growth of 50. This looks like 58,500. Yeah, it's right around 55 to 50, somewhere in that neighborhood. 58,000 in 1 year. 58,000 increase. So what do we see happening? We're talking about this. We were talking a lot's been made of Ripple announcing Q1 over-the-counter sales, the OTC, not this OTC, but OTC sales. And what was the news we heard? Well, the news was like, oh, Ripple's not selling XRP and doom and gloom. This is a good thing. This means that exchanges are funded, that they've been loading up, and that means the on-demand liquidity is going forward. Now it's up 3 times, almost 300%. I think it's 294%. What does that tell us? That tells us that what we've been waiting for, it's starting to move. We're starting to see something happen there. And that is a very good sign. Let's take a look at this. So Ripple and XRP, let me see if I can make that bigger. Holy cow, I'm sitting in a galaxy over here. Ripple and XRP power 179 million in cross-border remittances. See, this is the same story, but what I like about this is that this is on the daily hodl, okay? And they're sometimes friendly, but not necessarily always. But this is what I wanted to sort of highlight. On the side of Bitso, we've seen an exponential increase in the processing of remittances. So you're starting to see the remittances pick up with the technology of Ripple, XRP, and Bitso. And in April, they processed over $4.3 billion, which is really phenomenal. So it's just incredible there. Yeah, so Danny says if the whales are moving XRP, wouldn't it be safer to assume they might sell and the price might drop instead of going higher? Depends, but in the sense here, the whales, if they're moving to exchanges, we don't know who they are, right? We don't necessarily know. But what if it's exchanges? What if it's more funding? What if it's liquidity? We don't really know what it is. But you do bring up a point that if that were all to sell and it would be like a sell-off, yeah, it could potentially affect the price. I'm not so sure that's what it is, and the reason I don't think so is because of this increased, almost 300% in the on-demand liquidity, which is a very good sign for all of us, right? There was another good point. Yeah, so here's one. So we usually tend to see that a transaction, as we're seeing through ODL or on-demand liquidity, used to cost more than 5 times what it's actually costing them right now. Another one is settlement, which is almost immediate, which you don't see by any other means in any other traditional financial system. This right here is the most important line of this article. You don't see it in any other traditional, because traditional, we have our nostro vostro, right? Problem is that they got to be funded. So you got to keep these things funded. And the actual settlement, which they're bringing up here, the settlement takes days. You're talking about instant settlement. You're talking, well, instant 3 to 4 seconds, right? 4 to seconds at max. That's pretty incredible. And that's what I really wanted to do. Let's focus on this for a minute. You don't see it anywhere else. It's all about the settlement. And they were paying 5 times. I would actually assert that it's far more than 5 times. I actually think it's probably a multiplier in some cases. If you're paying a few drops, it's probably 50 or 100 times more. And it depends if you're using one of these services, and I won't name them, but you know they're out there. If you're using one of them, they're collecting user fees. It's way more than a couple of drops to move some kind of money, right? Richter Farms, what's going on? XRP feline, meow, 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 meow. Isn't it getting close to where people will have to buy from the exchanges at one point and the price should moon? Let me just say that again. So will they buy from the exchanges? So what's going to happen is, you know that on-demand liquidity leverages the exchanges. So you have market makers and takers. So when you have enough liquidity, ODL relies on exchanges for settlement, right? That's where it's settled through. So it's very possible, you could buy it from the exchanges. I mean, it's going to happen, but I think most of the time it's consuming, this ODL is moving these remittance payments. And then one of the things that happened, which I think is another amazing sign, I don't have any huge focus on this, but I want you to know that the trading is up on XRP, right? So the XRP Q1 had a very, very strong trading, and all the news reports were like, but Ripple's not selling any over the counter. Well, they don't need to right now. I'm sure they'll be selling loads of it. But when the ODL is moving and you got makers and takers and they're like settling this left and right, now we've got something we're talking about. So if you remember, Bitso and Ripple first partnered in August of 2018, and that was really 2 months before Ripple officially launched the ODL for its commercial application. So man, I know it seems like it's taken a long time, but you got to lay the rails. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it's moving, right? It is moving. It sure is moving. I'm going to go in the chat over here, see what else we got up. Well, there's nothing. So EdTech Consulting, boys, ignore the price. Look deep into what Chip and others are showing. There's a huge shadow and underground move happening. The stars are lining up to get ready. EdTech, very, very good point. EdTech, you get it, man. You have to ignore that stuff, right? And let's face it, right? So Ripple can disclose the partnerships they can based on their non-disclosure agreements, because they may not always be able to announce it. Like I said, Brad Garlinghouse gets the call, hello, and then it's X Bank 275, what's up? And he says, what's up? And they're like, hey, let's do the announcement. And that certainly can happen, but it takes a little bit of time, right? So we know that Ripple has over 300 plus partners. Now, who are they? We don't know. Think about that. Let that sink in. I'll wait. Do 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 do. A little music while we're waiting. Do 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 do. Dude, and maybe you hate when I do that. Why don't you go down there in the comments and complain about it and say, Chip, I hate when you do those little humming things. They're weird, right? And that's fine. Good comments, bad comments, just let me know down below, man. Not only that, but those comments help. These are awesome, but those comments down below help the OTC. And if you're down with OTC, like I know you are, also helps the channel. It's another way to sort of support the channel and support what we're doing here and all of our stuff. Guys, look at this. Hang on. There's so much going on today. I can't get to it all. This is incredible. Right? XRP Howler for Life. What up? Chip and crew. The OTC crew's in the house. Really good to see. What's up, RTB? Roy just popped in here. What's going on, Roy? Evol's here. Evol, you had some amazing comments last night, man. You're really bringing it. Put a lot of your comments on screen. I don't have the ability because I'm not using that software at the moment. I'm just using OBS right now. So that's what I'm using. So let's pop back. Let's go back here. Check this out. Ripple joins ISO global standards body on cross-border payments. Ripple claims to be the first DLT, digital ledger focused member of the global ISO 222 standards body, driving international standards on interoperability between financial institutions. Let me highlight that for you guys. Interoperability between financial institutions. So you're probably thinking, that's a lot of numbers, Chip. ISO 200, what does it all mean? We're going to get into that. You're going to see what it means. So Ripple's become the member of this new standards body. Well, what does that mean? Well, I'm going to get to that. See, if we go down here, the ISO 200 processes a single standardized approach and methodology process and repository to enable communications and interoperability between all global financial organizations. Do you see that? Interoperability. And it's a brand new standard that's coming out there. And isn't it interesting that Ripple is everywhere these days? Man, they're everywhere. You got the ODL pumping, you got Ripple forging with all these partnerships, and now they're joining this. It's just that we have so much amazing news to get into today. It's fun. So let's look here. I'm going to bypass some of these. One I wanted to get to. I got to look for it here. That's weird. I don't see it. There's another thing. Oh, here it is right here. The standard has already been adopted in... Whoa. I just had it there. What happened? Oh, what the heck just happened there? I was right on it, and it's gone. Let me see if I can grab it again. Holy cannolis. Just had it, and it's somewhere here. I don't know. I don't know. Basically, 70 countries have adopted this tech. And I thought I had it up here, and it seems like a brand new... Is this a brand new article? What the heck happened to my other article? I don't even know what happened. But anyway, there was another article up there, but the adoption is incredible for this tech right here. So this ISO payment system, it's just incredible. So when you think about this, you get a new interoperable sort of an ISO standard coming out. Who's first in? Feet first, jumping in, diving in. Who is it? Chappelle Ripple. Ripple's everywhere because who's the king of interoperable payments? You know who it is. Ripple. Are we going to get tired of saying Ripple tonight? Probably not. I don't think we're going to get there. So this is just another piece of news. Put it on the big stack. I'll have to grab my ladder. I'll climb up there and I'll throw it on top of that stack. Michael B., what's going on? How are you, man? How you doing? What else we have here? Is that the Michael B? Is that the Michael B from my secret special chat group, Michael B? Because you never know. Anybody could be a Michael B. I just want to know if it is, and you'll know the right thing to tell me. The Coiler Michael B, the blogger Michael B, the future book publisher Michael B. I just want to know if it's the right person I'm speaking about. Look at this. Our pal Marcus Treacher, used to work with this little company called Ripple. Gosh, that's not going to get old. It never gets old for me. Interoperability is the key to the future of global payments. As the first member of the ISO 222 standards body focused on the DLT, we're committed to supporting the evolving needs of our customers and supporting an industry-wide standard for all. So this is actually really big news. Why is it? Because the ECB steps in. This is the governing body of over... I want to actually get to this story because I want to show you the tie-in here. Check this out. So check this out. Our old pal, our nemesis, if you will, look at this. So Swift ISO 202, their migration is delayed. What does that tell you? They just punted and kicked the can down the road, right? They just punted. They're going on the road. So during its March 2020 meeting, the Swift board and executive endorsed a decision to shift their ISO 222 migration date for cross-border payments from November of 2021 to 2022. Are you kidding me? They delayed it. They're not going to make the November 2021 date, which is 14, 15 months away. Now they're moving it another 2 years. All right, this tells me there's a lot going on. Swift right now cannot hit this deadline in 2 years. Now, Ripple's already set up for that. What does that tell you? Let's read between the lines, shall we? More good news. And when you see Marcus Treacher over here talking about it, he's basically piggybacking off the Finextra here about the ECB had to basically stepped in because of their delay. But who pops in to save the day? Oh, yeah. It's our pal Ripple, right? They popped right in there and they're doing it. I want to shout out a couple more people here in the chat. We have Crypto Shimazu, XRP on the move. Watch YouTube, please. Yes, okay. BZ's in here. BZ Comedy Channel. Yeah, there he goes. Ed Tech said go to the Finextra article. That is where it's at. Yes, Michael B. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Good to see you. Awesome to see you in here, man. I hope you're feeling better, man. If you don't know, Michael's battling this evil C word right now, and he's kicking its ass all over the place. So I'm really happy to see that. And who else is in here? Rutro. Danny says Rutro, Ripple to the rescue. Yeah, Ripple to the rescue. So you see how things are going here? You go like, well, let's see. Let's start reading between the lines here. So on one side, you got Ripple joining. On the other side, you have basically Swift punting it down the road saying, you know what, we might have been a little aggressive in our approach. November 2021 is out of the question. But we're somewhat maybe possibly thinking 2022-ish. Forget it, man. Forget it. By the time that rolls around, it's going to be a sad day. So is there any more good news, you ask? Why, yes, there is. So XRP Feline says, meow, says Winklevoss made the mistake of going after XRP community. Oh, yeah, I did see that tweet. That was yeah, and the way he did it too is kind of just it wasn't a no, it wasn't a great move the way he went ahead and did that. It was Galgatron basically posted something, about the SEC. Why wouldn't they include why wouldn't the Winklevoss's exchange include XRP? And he's like, you see, now he equated it to something of an exchange there. So yeah, 2024 and their 50th anniversary when they meet their demise. Just remember, kids, here's how it works. When you're going down, you always think, well, something will happen and something will happen. And I've been there before. I've been there in companies and I've been there in life. You think, oh, no, it's going to turn around. You don't know you're on a speedway to rock bottom. And you know who's the last one to know? Oh, yeah. Swift will be the last ones to know. By the time they wake up and figure it out, it'll be over. And they won't, because they're sitting there fighting, talking about we can settle in 12 minutes. No, not 12 seconds. They're not settling in 12 seconds. They're simply sending the memo in 12 seconds. Hardly the same thing, right? Boom, more good news. Check this out. So Stefan Thomas here at Just Moon. Of course, you know him from Coil. He says, we at Coil are beyond excited to be part of the formation of the Moja Loop, an open source foundation. Would like to welcome fellow sponsors, the Rockefeller Foundation. The Rockefellers? How do I know that name? Omidar Network and Google. There's some big players. Hat tip to, why isn't it showing me here? To Adrian Hope Bailey, who's going to be representing them on the board, which is really exciting stuff. So this is actually the press release. The philanthropic and tech organizations, Coil, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Google, Modusbox, Omidar Network, and the Rockefeller Foundation join as inaugural sponsor members. So I think this is really big news. Let's go to Moja Loop right here. It's basically open source software that empowers organizations to create, here's the word again, interoperable digital payment systems to increase financial inclusion, right? So if you think about what they're doing, and again, as sponsors, they're looking to open up previously untouched places to create that interoperable, right? Maybe between countries, exchanges, whatever it may be. But are we hearing a common theme tonight? Do you see interoperability weaved throughout? You see some of the players, Coil, Ripple, you see Ripple's ODL, you see XRP. There's so much going on, and we know we get complicit in our ways sometimes. We're like, nothing's going on today, man. Where's my favorite? How come XRP's not mooning? And yet we have this amazing news going on. So what is Moja Loop? Well, it's designed to provide a reference model for payment interoperability that can be used to overcome barriers that have slowed the spread of digital financial services. So these are going to be used, and the thing I like about this, guys, I've always preached open source. Open source is the best. Like, for example, the software I use here, OBS, is open source. But company can come in, called SLOBs, and I forget what that acronym stands for, but anyways, Jeff will let me know. But SLOBs will basically come in, right? And they will allow you to, I don't know, he just sent me a URL here. I'm looking at it. But Open source, anybody can use it, and anybody can add to the project. So you can jump in, you can look at it. The cool thing about open source is you're not paying for it. And there's always a lot of development going on. You can see when the pushes to the code happen, when the pulls happen, when the forks happen. All the code you can actually monitor, and you can see it, and it's all public. So it's not hidden from view. And I'm a big fan of open source. But again, you can take something open source, which I'm using right now, it's called OBS, and you can go ahead and then port it over. Which is, hey, Connie's here. Connie, I'm good to see you. Thank you. I must have missed you today. If I did, my apologies. And E-Man jumped in when nobody was looking, slipped in the back door there. Look at that. E-Man's here. Good to see. Coilist article said that ISO 200.2.2, 87% of the world payments will be DLT by 2023. What's up with that? Well, I'll tell you what's up with that. I'll tell you who won't be part of it. Because when 2021 rolls around, our pals over at Swift to be like, you know what, we might have been a little aggressive in our approach. 2.5 years, we don't think we can hit that thing. We're moving to the 2025. 2025, no one knows Swift's name, right? And it's possible that would happen. So let's take a look at this. Let's go over to GitHub. This is where 65% of the code is. I'm not going to get too tech on this, but basically GitHub is where the code is. So here, if you want to clone it, download it, play with it, here's all the documentations on here. Here's the channels that you can go, here's how you can contribute to the project. Here are the repositories where the code lives for the different stuff. And here's the support that they're doing shout outs. Here you can click on here to get pull reminders. So I got 2 separate GitHub accounts, which is frustrating for me when I'm logged in. I always sometimes forget which one I'm logged in as. You got 12 contributors right here. These are the people contributing to the project, all kinds of stats on this. Really cool to see on open source projects, but usually you have regular companies, like my company, for example, we use GitHub too, but our stuff is locked down, right? So it's proprietary because it's secret sauce and systems that are not necessarily out to the world. And by the way, if you're running who owns GitHub, it's Microsoft. So anyway, there you go. So here's who can it help? Well, person-to-person transfers, check accounts. So these are like the possible unbanked payroll and other bulk payments. So look what's happening. Look what's happening. They're part of Mojaloop, right? Interoperable. Well, who else is going to be part of that? If it was up to us, it would only be Ripple, because who else would be part of that? Account management, fraud management. This is all built in here. Here are the players. There's our favorite Coil sitting right over there. The Rockefeller Foundation, Modus Box. Google. I think I've heard that name somewhere, but anyway, it doesn't ring a bell right now. Maybe it will later. Here you can see all the docs and everything. It's really fantastic what they're up to, man. It really is some good stuff. But again, let me just close this out. Nobody really wants to look at that. I want to jump back into the chat here. I want to see what's going on with my favorite peeps of all time. Man, I love this community. I love you guys coming in here. Texas XRP, the man Chip, damn straight. And I love when you say stuff like that. Danny Torres supporting with hitting the thumbs and the subscribe and notifications and all that good stuff. Don't miss the OTC videos. And I told you guys this before if you came in late. On the other channel, the OTC standard channel, links down below, I've been dropping XRP minutes. They're short form. They're 6 minutes long. They're not the bloviating. I try to keep it nice, right around 6 minutes, so you can get some good impact, some good news. I focus on the good stuff that's going on. There's plenty of people focusing on the negativity. I like to go for the juicy bits, the little morsels, the tasty little morsels, the ones you put on the edge of your tongue and say, that tastes all right. That's what I like to do. So if you're not subbed to the other channel, you can kind of go over there and check it out and see what's up over there. It's pretty cool and fun. Yeah, so that's what we're up to. So let's do this. Let's jump back in. Should we jump back in the shallow end head first? I don't see why not. I don't see why not. If I can find my key here. Boom, there's my hotkey. And let's jump over here. So we are on here. What the heck? I had a story queued up here. Maybe not. So check this out. So we're going to do a little bit of our, Crypto Eddie calls it the fluff. I call it the cool ass tech. Okay, so there it is. That's what I'm going with now. I'll probably change it. If you guys know Virgin Galactic, they are partnering with NASA to develop a supersonic point-to-point air travel. And you're like, what is point-to-point? Well, if we take the equivalent of what moving payments from one side of the earth to the other side of the earth, if you're thinking about that, right? If you're thinking about what that looks like, and I don't know what that 100% looks like, but let's suppose you're wondering. Sorry about that. I dropped something on the floor there. What does that look like? Well, You move it from, let's say, Miami to Tokyo, it flips over there, and then it moves in 4 seconds. Well, think about Virgin Galactic doing the same thing for air travel. How does that work exactly? I'll show you. Big black file. I don't know. I think it just blacks these out, the ads. So the Virgin Galactic announced today a new partnership with NASA, the pursuit of the goal of developing a high-speed vehicle for point-to-point travel, basically going from one city to another city. I've got another. Let's see what's going on. Boy, there we go. I had a little bit of little weird thing going on with our greenie screen over there. So it's called the Supersonic X-59 Lone Boone Supersonic Test Plane. Say that 7 times fast. Built by Lockheed Martin. New partnership agreement with Virgin Galactic subsidiary. Okay, let's get through all that stuff. And I want to get to. Sometimes I like to highlight these articles. Today I did not highlight it, but anyway, here it is. The International Space Station, for instance, performs a full orbit around the Earth once every 90 minutes. Think about that. If you're in space and you're in orbit, you can go around in 90 minutes. And we also know SpaceX, their ambitious plans for making their own starship to go ahead and land on the moon. But there's like 2 other ones out there that want to do the same thing. But here we go. A trip from New York to Shanghai using Starship would take 40 minutes. I can't even get to Miami in 40 minutes, let alone Fort Lauderdale from where I live, which is incredible. I mean, I could if Jeff was driving. Now, if Jeff was driving, yeah, that's all doable. He might get there in 36 minutes because he tends to have a little bit of a heavy foot there. So SpaceX has said rather than 16 hours it takes today. So think about that. 16 hours on a flight, shoved into a seat, the middle row maybe. With now we're wearing masks on planes. Now we can't eat how do you eat the food if you're wearing a mask? I think they just eliminate the middle seat, or they if they eliminated the middle seats, then there's their distancing, right? It might not be enough space, but wear masks. You cannot have somebody populate in that middle seat anymore. I think we've deleted middle seats. So look at the comparison here. That Spaceship 2 travels at the top speed of around 4,000 kilometers, nearly 2,500 miles an hour, while a Boeing 747 maxes out just under 1,000. So just think about that, under 615 miles an hour. So 615 miles an hour or 2,500 miles an hour, 4,000 kilometers or 988. You do the math. And you can see you can basically go from one point to another point. Can you imagine getting on a plane? You just get sit back. You're thinking about what movie you're going to watch, and bam, you're like, your captain has turned off the no smoking lights and everything else, and now we're heading down into. And you're like, whoa, I just got here. What the hell happened? I didn't have a snack or a meal or anything. And next thing you know, you're heading on your descent. So I love this little, hey, Patty B, what's going on? Patty B and Michael B, what kind of special night is this? XRP bags popped in here as well. Yeah, so XRP, how their life. Want to read out this comment. The tech, yes, but they're the only monopoly in town right now. Ripple's tech is superior, obviously, but bank finance innovation moves slow. It does hodler for life, but think of it like this. There's an issue when they're already, usually when you're rolling tech out, and I'll just give you a little bit of a hint of how bad this really is. When you're rolling out tech, you always have milestones that you need to hit. You got these milestones, you need to hit them. When you aren't confident that you're not going to hit your milestones a year and months away, and you're delaying it another year, whatever you're working on is in big, big trouble. It's doing some really bad shit. Yeah, OTC with some tasty little morsels. Thank you for that, tasty little morsels. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So let's see, liquidity. Yeah. So this is what he's saying. XRP Evol says, remember that the money is being drained. They'll go out of liquidity sooner than later. Yeah, sooner than later is absolutely 100% right. Annalise, what's going on, Annalise? Annalise Crypto, what's going on? Can you comment on this? The Constitutional Court of Germany is stalling the bond buying, and if that happens, big companies have no liquidity. That might accelerate the ISO. Yeah, you know what? Anytime you're threatening liquidity, there's and look, this is happening everywhere. So that's Evol, it's a really good point there. This is happening everywhere. Liquidity is going to become an issue. It is. It is. Everybody's drained. You have the central banks. There was a really good article today. I thought it was a little too technical and not really good news. I like to focus on the better stuff, but there's really good news about the European Central Bank and them. This kind of plays into this whole thing about them flipping out a little bit, kind of being in chaos right now. We know who heads that up. That's Madame Lagarde heads that up. She's the head of it. So, Yeah, so that's what that's all about. So anyway, we're on kind of a space theme for our cool ass tech segment right here, or I should say our badass tech segment. Check this out. Now this is cool, right? So Tom Cruise is reportedly talking to SpaceX about shooting a movie in space. What? Say what? Now this is one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. And if you know Tom Cruise, he doesn't age. He looks the same as you pull up Top Gun, you look at him now. Yeah, you can see he's a little weathered. But man, the guy's like drinking some kind of like sorcery blood or something. I don't know what he's doing out there, but the guy never ages. It's just remarkable and incredible. So perennial action star Tom Cruise, who has a penchant for striving for bigger and more blustery stunts and set pieces, may be aiming for the crowning action movie achievement of them all, shooting a movie in space. So Deadline first reported that he's in early discussions with Elon Musk about possibly filming this feature in space. Now, we don't really know, early days, but it's kind of fun when they leak stuff out like this because you're like, wow, can you imagine a real movie shot in space? I don't even know if we can tell the difference. Well, I don't know what was the name of that one with Sandra Bullock. It was just so much fun, man. Like, I really enjoyed that movie where she was up in space and there was so much going on. And I'm like, I don't know if that's really shot in space. It could have been. The CGI stuff is so remarkable. Had a really phenomenal story to that. I don't know if you guys caught that. The name escapes me at the minute, but then they go on to say, it's not a book project. It's really early days, and the talks are serious though. Now this presents a whole other issue when you think about an actor. It's not like he can just go, okay, my shooting's done, cut, and then what do? Well, they just basically head off to they head home, right? To get in their Lambo, drive home, pick up some fast food on the way. Not if you're in space. That's weird, right? Because then you got to use the bathroom, and it's a whole weird thing. So if you're doing it, it's pretty intense going through that sort of thing, right? BZ says, I truly believe Tom Cruise thinks he's immortal. And I don't know, BZ. I'm starting to think it myself. I don't know if he thinks it, but I'm starting to think it. What's up, WB? WB popping in. Good to see you. I'm starting to think it might be possible. Patty B says, come on, Michael, it's steak time, steak and potato time. Guys, have a good one. Thank you for jumping in. Really appreciate it. Good to see you guys are going to be eating some good, speaking of tasty morsels, right? But I got to tell you something. I'm going to share a little something with you. I'm going to come back on this one right here. Holy cow, who the hell's that? He just popped right up in my stream here. Does that mean I missed that story? Holy cats, what is going on with that? Huh. There we go. So, kind of an interesting, when you're in like, I don't know what I call this, you're at home all the time, you start developing certain things, you're doing like things over and over again. Well, I haven't eaten any meat in like over 2 weeks now. My wife's a vegetarian, and I got to a point where I burned out. I stopped eating red meat just for health reasons. Stopped eating pork years and years ago. Can't tell you the last time I had pork. So then I stopped eating chicken. But I got so burned out on chicken, I was having it every day. And I got to the point where I was like, I can't do it anymore. I'm done. So my wife started making these amazing salads. And I just realized 2 weeks flew by and I haven't had any meat. Now, I'm never giving up fish, okay? But I'm just saying, and also eggs too. But I'm saying like red meat, the chicken, your normal like meat type groups. So I kind of see that steak thing. And everyone, steak and potatoes. And I'm like, I remember being a kid, smell the barbecue going, everything smells good. And my mouth watered. I'm not going to lie to you. My mouth watered a little bit, even though I don't need it anymore. But I was starting to think, like, that's pretty interesting. Lord Vendetta. Whoa, dude. I don't want to mess with Lord Vendetta. You want to keep everything on the up and up. Want to just make sure everything's above board, Lord Vendetta. Thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah. OTC says thank you. So you want to keep it above board. Yeah, he's a Scientologist, so he does believe that he is immortal. But, if you follow a lot of different religions, Christian faith preaches immortality, to a certain extent, not in the way that, you're invincible. But, yeah, there's always that. And, look, I don't like when people get on their soapboxes. I get on my soapbox here, but so what? Nobody who cares. You come in here, you hear it. But if I go see a musician and they're going to be playing a song, and I don't really necessarily have to agree with their thought patterns, but if I got to go pay a lot of money to go see them and they got to like preach to me, I'm like, do that in a magazine article or something. I don't really want to see that here. You know what I mean? Matt LaRoche says gravity. Yes, Matt LaRoche. LaRoche. That's right, dude. Gravity. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, Gravity. I want to get your thoughts on that. If you guys like that movie, I don't know, man. The movie stayed with me for a while, which a lot of movies just like they're in and out. You binge watch stuff. I don't know. And I gotta say, and by the way, Ann, I got a question for you. What's going on with the Walking Dead? Where are you? Are you caught up? Because I know we had this conversation virtually, of course, but I want to know where you are. Game of Thrones had that sort of effect on me. Walking Dead has that. There's some things out there that really stay with me. That movie Gravity was so much fun. I loved it. I kind of didn't expect it to be great, but I also saw it on those one of those massive screens as well. So and I was positioned like dead center, so I felt like I was like just felt like I was engulfed in the whole space shots and the things that were going on. I thought it was amazingly acted, well executed, well shot, and everything else. Let's start Chip's movie reviews. I'm going to go into movie reviews, and I will tell you what is great about it, and I will tell you what I hate. On the XRP Minute, we like to keep things up. Happy times. Let's be happy, right? So we want to be able to do that. Connie says she's never seen a Walking Dead or Game of Thrones. Connie, what are you thinking? Why don't you trust the people? Trust us, man. We wouldn't lead you astray. Man, if you can go ahead and start binge watching that, but I will be honest. A buddy of mine recommended, I was new to Game of Thrones. I think I came in 2-3 years ago. And my buddy's like, no, you got to watch it. I'm like, dude, I'm going to watch it. I don't like these kind of shows. I watched the first one, and I'm like, I have toothpicks in my eyes. The second one. Third one, I'm like, holy cow, this is getting fun. Fourth one, I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to see it. Where Walking Dead for me was instant. The first episode laid it out. People go like, I don't like zombies. Not about zombies, it's about the human condition. It's about what humans will do to survive at any cost. It's about the good, the bad, and the ugly that comes out in a survival scenario. That's what it's all about. Threadwork Derek is in here. Yeah, great. Gravity was great. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I don't know if anybody else saw it. Jon Snow, you know everything. Yeah, Jon Snow. Oh, Jon Snow. Yeah, Jon Snow. I love that, man. You know what? I might just give it a little bit of time and kind of go through it again. One of the best. You know what? I'll tell you what it's like, Connie. It's like a one continuous long movie. Think of it as a movie. That's how good it is. It's not like an episode. It's just one long movie that you really get some really detailed, really amazing character development. Just crazy stuff happens, catches you off guard sometimes. And Walking Dead's the same way. You really get attached to somebody, and well, let's just say it's a zombie apocalypse, and let's say not everybody can hang around forever. You know what I mean? It's just how it works, you know. So thank you, Danny Torres. I appreciate that. Great synopsis. All right, Richter's here. Hey, George. George is here. Let me see. Where's George? Did I miss George? I don't know. I see George being called out. I don't know if you gave me an answer there yet, Annalise, but anyway, I don't know. I'm curious where you are. Lord Vendetta says a good show, and I'm not going against Lord Vendetta. I'll be honest with you. If he says it sucks, I'll be like, yeah, it wasn't that great, you know, because it's Lord Vendetta, man. You know, you just want, like I said, you want to keep it fresh, above board. You want to always be on like a good operating condition with Lord Vendetta, you know. Annalise gets excited over BTC halving. Who knew? Yeah, I think we're all going to get excited about the BTC halving, right? But I think about if you look back at the first Genesis block in 2009, and think about it like this: the first miners, the reward was 50 Bitcoin. 50 Bitcoin. By today's standards, 50 Bitcoin, and then in 2012 it got halved into then 25. And you're like, well, 25 is pretty good. Then it went down to 12. Now the next one that's going to happen, it's going to go down to 6.25. What does that mean for us? Well, everyone's like, we need to decouple from Bitcoin. No, we don't. We need to attach and go for the ride. Well, Bitcoin's about to get a lot more scarce. I still think it'll be mined heavily out of China because they can afford electricity. But even if 50% of people bail, and they will, you can't survive on the transaction fees. So it's going to become even more and more scarce, and more scarce. What does scarcity bring? Elevates price. Now, there's two sides of the equation here. Some people say, well, I'm not all that impressed. There's actually a lot of BTC maxis saying, no, it's going to go down. But I went through and checked it out and looked everything up. Historically, it was up. So there might be a short drop, but I think what we'll ultimately see is we will see a climb for sure. That's what we're going to end up seeing. We'll see some sort of a climb. It will certainly rebound, and we'll get there. So I want to jump back in the chat. Haven't seen. What are we talking about, Matt LaRoche? You haven't seen on Netflix? Yeah. So the Game of Thrones, I'm going to jump back on that. Game of Thrones is an HBO production, so you probably have to see it on HBO Go. I think some of it may have been ported over, although, you know, they have licensing things that kind of Matt, you sold 50 BTC? Yeah, boy, wow. Ooh, ouch. That happens, man. It happens. Hi, I'm the George. Okay, you're the George. Got you. Got you. Okay. So anyway, listen, I wanted to just wrap things up a little bit here, and one of the things that I wanted to say was, um, check out the other channel. I'm doing more and more XRP Minute to get those out there. I think Jeff's going to be dropping some stuff, short form videos, man. You guys are busy. You don't have all day. I mean, you want to pop in here once a week. We do a live stream. We hang out for roughly an hour or so. Then that's what we do. But I'll tell you any other time, you want to have short little consumption videos, and that's what we're doing on the other channel. By the way, tomorrow we're dropping a pretty cool thing. I don't know if you guys got to see last Thursday's deep dive, but we're actually dropping a cool after show. David Seaman was on from Fulcrum News, and we had actually a really good time on the after show. That's dropping tomorrow morning at 7 on the other channel. You're going to want to subscribe below. If you enjoyed the content you see here, what I'd love you to do is please consider subscribing, liking, and putting a couple comments. What did you like today? What didn't you like? Did you disagree with me? Did you hate Gravity, the movie? I mean, what else am I missing? If you guys want to ping us on OTC, you want to DM us something, you saw a really cool story, start reaching out to us. We'll do a shout out for you. You find something cool, I'll shout you out. Jeff will shout you out. One of us will shout you out on the channels. That's my take. Like I said before, I want to know yours. Let me know down below. My name's Chip, and I am out of here.